everybody. Welcome to another edition of Box Seats. I'm your host, Frank Holder. This is the show where we jump off and talk about sports with comedians. Let's get ready to get it started. My man Talent is in the building. One of New York's finest. What's up, T? How you doing, sir? How's everything?
Fantastic. It's a beautiful day. Got some stuff done early. Yeah. So I always feel good when I do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. Another one of New York's finest also in the building. My man, comedian Fig. What's up, Fig? How you doing?
Man, this is how I feel today. Mortimer, we're back.
You went too old for a lot of people, bro. You should have did that.
I know. Hey, listen. One of the classics, Frank. That was one of the classics.
It's not one of. I think it's the classic. One of the highest astute classics in the game. But anyway, let's jump into it, man. One of New York's finest, like I said, Talent is in the building, and Talent is going to have to talk to me about another one of New York's finest. Aaron Judge is making the news right now, man, because he, unbeknownst to the New York Yankees and the San Francisco Giants, Aaron Judge went up and attended the winter meetings today. Excuse me, a lot of players don't normally do that, but Aaron Judge decided to do that, and I guess he's trying to get his money up. You know what I mean? Maybe he's trying to get his offer. Maybe he's trying. I don't know. But unbeknownst to the Yankees, and unbeknownst to the Dodgers, unbeknownst to the Giants, and unbeknownst to the Mets, the teams who all made some high deals with him, he went to the winter meetings. What's your take on Aaron Judge attending the winter meetings?
Well, I mean, he's just going through the motions, trying to get that shock value. It's money in shock, Frank. It's money in going against the grain sometimes. You know what I mean? I was looking at a couple of quotes coming out of the Yankees camp where they still feel confident. And they say they plan to put their money where their mouth is. They want them to be a Yankee. We plan on putting our money where our mouth. That's the official statement coming out of the Yankees front office. And I've said it all along. I said people say stuff about warm weather and he's from there, family ties. Money talks, pinstripes talks, BS walks. So until it's theirs to lose, in other words. So all of the movements that's going on right now, winter meetings and all that, that's for shock value because that raises the dollar value as well. So I understand that. Good for him.
Not only that, Fig, I think the biggest thing is that a lot of people are overlooking is that he's already there. He's already a Yankee. He ain't got to uplift and move, do nothing. You know what I mean? That counts for something, I think. I don't know. What's your thoughts on Aaron Judge surprising the baseball world, the entire baseball world, by showing up at the winter meeting?
Well, here's the thing. If Aaron stays in New York, he'll be amongst a lot of people just like him. And I say that in the sense that New York City has more judges per capita than any other place in the United States of America. So, he'll just be amongst many judges, if you will. No, but listen, man, if the Yankees are going to pay him what it is that he wants, then why would you uproot everything and move to another city where you have to, start all over again? There's really comfort in familiarity.
Yeah.
And I think that's that's really understated when it comes to professional athletes.
I definitely think that you're 100% with that. So yesterday, T, while you missed the show, we were talking about Baker Mayfield. Right before we got on the air, Baker Mayfield got released. The news was he got released. The crazy thing is, after we got off the show, after we got off the air, I found out that Baker Mayfield asked to be released. So, that obviously says a lot too, because I think, in my opinion, I think since Baker was looking at other teams, obviously 49 situation, right? But also the Rams, Matthew Stafford's not playing, and the Saints. So I think he asked to be released so he can get picked up by somebody else, man. I think it has a lot to do with that. What's your thoughts, T, on Baker Mayfield asking to be released?
There's a famous saying, Frank, careful what you ask for.
Ain't that the truth?
Because now this sets a whole nother level of precedence in his case, where I was looking at the Panther situation as a rebuild my credibility situation. Let me get back to when they talked about me and my capabilities and top 20 quarterback or whatever. Now you ask your way out of somewhere because you see other opportunities. I'm going to go over here. That's a better situation for that team. I go over there. We got a chance to play off all that stuff. You put more pressure on you than you had on you. So now it's it's like going higher up the stories in the building and jumping. It's like if there's a fire and you can jump to the second floor, you have a chance of living. Mm-hmm. But if you go all the way to the 12th floor to jump, You might as well stay your ass in that building and catch fire.
You know, I can't not. The king of it, like King Talent, known as the king of analogies, and he showed up again with another analogy. Wait, do you agree, disagree? What's your thoughts on Baker Mayfield asking to be released?
Man, listen, here's the thing. I want to call BS. How about that? White people get to ask to be released. Black people just get fired. Like, how come Cam Newton couldn't have been asked to be released? How that? Man, they need to stop, man. You making millions of dollars a year. He said, listen, I don't want to be here no more. Can you release me? Like, so what? And leave money on the table? Here's the thing. When you get fired, they have to pay you. If you ask to be released, they don't owe you nothing. So it's just like if you quit a job, your benefits go away. It's it. It's over. If they fire you, they owe you a little bit of money, maybe severance pay, depending on the kind of job that you have. What do you mean he asked to be released? Ain't nobody. You know, it's kind of funny. Baker Mayfield is looking at other people. The question is, are those other people looking at Baker Mayfield? That's the key part that ain't nobody talking about. Who's interested in Baker?
See, Fink's bringing up a great point. We're going to circle back on this, I'm sure, in a couple of days, because I think he asked to be released because his agent told him that he must have some interest somewhere else. Because I can't see why else he would ask to be released. But, you know, it is what it is. Now let's talk about Tom Brady. Tom Brady did it again last night, man. When I turned on the game, they were losing. You know, and I turned on the game it was like 5 minutes left to go in the game. I turned from it. You know what I mean? I'm not even going to lie. I turned from it. I didn't even end up seeing it. And then I saw the news alert, the Bucs came back and won. So then I did the whole game scheme, and I saw the Bucs made a whole lot of mistakes early, and then came back and won. Whereas the Saints made a whole lot of mistakes late and lost the game. What's your take on Tom Brady leading the Bucs again in the victory, even though he played a team that's 4-8 with the Saints against the Saints?
Well, first of all, I seen that coming. Watching the game, you could see it, coming down to that point. But I love it because it makes me righter than you again.
Me? Oh, okay.
Every time Tom Brady do something, and the funny thing is, I don't even like Tom Brady, but I just like him doing good things so I can rub it in your face. So that's the whole thrill of sports, ain't it? Crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm watching the game, and I kind of see it going. You see exactly where it's going and unfolding. And when you see the amount of points and what he needs to do, and the amount of time they kept leaving him, because he had 2 shots at it, and I mean, obviously he did it, and game was over. But I like the fact that he's fighting. I love that he's fighting because I would hate to see Tom go far or make it to the playoffs and it's some fluke stuff. Because if you look at the record, he's just cracking 500 now. And just cracking 500, they're still leading the division. They're in the front of their division. So right now, if it ends today, even with that 500 record, you get in. So I like the fact that he's not laying down, so to speak. He's fighting. When you see him play the game, Tom's playing the game. Right. It reminds me of like what's going on with my Jets, because that game would have been a higher scoring game, but a lot of people dropping passes, a lot of missed routes. Like it was a lot going on that wasn't really his fault. He was out there playing. So kudos to Tom Brady for hanging in there, getting that last minute win, the victory last night.
Yeah, kudos to him with that. And T, for the record, I might have to say that you might be right in this one, because when I tell you Bill Belichick is getting me very angry now and upset, I might have to concede. I'm gonna see what happens at the end of this season. I might have to concede with that because I'm hating it. Fig, stop laughing before I black you out. But anyway, Fig, talk to me. What you think about Tom Brady leading the Bucs again? Like, well, I think the score is 13-3. You know what I mean? With 5 minutes left to go in the game, and Brady leads them back in. And I think with 2 minutes left to go in the game, or 3 minutes left to go in the game, when the running back had the chance to go out of bounds and get the first down, that would have killed the clock and definitely left them with a great chance. And he stopped right before, and he runs out like one shot because his leg hurt. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, what a misstep. That I think that's the cascading thing, Fig. But anyway, talk to me. What's your thoughts?
Man, last night was equal to the miracle on ice when the United States of America beat the Russian hockey team in the Olympics, man. Last night was just like, yo, if I believed in conspiracy theories, I say, yo, man, Tom Brady sold his soul to the devil. Because he ain't nowhere in the world you playing quarterback and damn near 50 years old. You in the fourth quarter, there's 5 minutes left. You down basically 2 scores. And then you come back and win? Yeah, man, let me tell you something. The NFL has had about 2 or 3 games like that this year where it's like you say to yourself, this game is over. And you turn the channel, and when you see the highlights, you be like, what, they won? Tom Brady had just pulled off one of those things last night, man. This still, listen, man. I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks that look greater than Tom Brady. But as far as results, Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback to ever play this game, man, because I ain't never seen nobody do this stuff before, man. This is absolutely ridiculous. And the fact that he's doing it at an elevated age, man, just highlights it even more, man. I thought the game was over, Frank, and he came back and pulled out another miracle on ice. It was crazy, man. I just absolutely amazing. It's dumbfounded. There's no word for what he could do.
All right, so T, we have to give an update with the 49ers because Coach Shanahan came out and said that the 49ers are not going to move forward with Baker Mayfield. The 49ers are not going to do anything like that. They're going to stick with the kid that they got. I forgot his name. Let me look up the name. Like I was like, his name is Brock Purdy. So they're gonna stick with this kid because they feel that Brock Purdy is the guy that's going to keep them and bring them to wherever they got to go. 49ers play the Bucs this upcoming week. What's your thought on them sticking with Brock Purdy and the way he's playing in the 49ers defense and everything? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, ain't nothing to think about, Frank. You got a name like Brock, you always gonna get the job.
Ain't that true?
I'd name my darkest son Brock. Justin Brock. Brock, that's one of those names, Frank. You're gonna get any job you go for, but most likely 90% of the Brocks we know play in the soap operas. There's a soap opera character named Brock. But I think that's the right move. I think how else do we find new quarterbacks? We got to eventually. We drafted them, we picked them, we traded for them. However, we got these second and third string guys. We got them for a reason.
Right.
Not just because they were there, but how do we develop them if they never get that shot? What you don't want is that guy sitting on the bench too long and, he becomes ineffective when you do call on him. You know what I mean? And guys like Mayfield, like I said, Baker Mayfield, he put the kerosene out there. Watch careful for the igniting. You know what I mean? Careful what you ask for, because when you do it the way that he's trying to do it right now, the expectation level goes super high. Good for this team, not jumping on the bandwagon or piling in there and making it worse. Develop some stuff you got. You got a solid team all around. You don't need the quarterback savior at this moment. All you need is a decent backup to come in for we got 5 games left. That's all you need right now. I give them applause for not jumping on that. That's bait. That's clickbait.
Yeah, Fig, what's your take on this right now on Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers with Jimmy G getting hurt? We all know that it probably lessens their chance for making it to the Super Bowl, but this kid look like he's the real deal so far. So I don't know.
Hey, man, with a name like that, man, he got to be an NFL quarterback, man. I mean, his parents named him after their favorite vegetable, broccoli.
That was so cool. I busted out laughing.
And listen, we haven't heard about him in the NFL, but for those of y'all that don't know, Brock is related to the young woman who played in the Clumps, Mrs. Purdy, and we know Sherman Clump had a crush on Mrs. Purdy. Yeah, hello there, Mrs. Purdy, and Brock Purdy.
This is one of them want moments.
Brock Purdy is one. No, man, but listen. Oh God, that's hilarious to me. Anyway, but Brock Purdy, man. I mean, listen, man. What is he gonna do? You know what I mean? If he can't play football, what are you gonna do? Pack bags at the nearest grocery store, at the nearest shop, right? Brock Purdy We need you in produce.
Listen, he got a job no matter where he goes. He got a job no matter where he goes. All right, let's keep it moving. I want to pause for a moment in the NFL news and bring up the thing that we were talking about yesterday, T, because yesterday we talked about a situation that you didn't get a chance to expound on. We were talking about Deion Sanders yesterday. You know? Even though you and I talked about it off the air and everything else. T, give me your thoughts on Deion Sanders and what's your thoughts on him leaving, because there's so much moving, so many moving parts about Deion Sanders leaving JSU and then going to Colorado. You know what I mean? What's your thought?
I mean, straight up, to me, he's how can I say this? He's a sellout. And he wouldn't be a sellout. Here's the funny thing about something like this. I just left the barbershop where we having this back and forth. And no, he's not a sellout. Blah, blah. I said, well, you got to understand what a sellout is. Had Deion just came to take a job and with no fanfare, just did a job and then moved on to another job, no one would be even, it wouldn't be even controversial. Nobody, this wouldn't even be big news like that. It'd be regular sports. But the reason why you have a split in opinion on this is because he did come into the last school on some HBCU camaraderie cavalry thing. He came in kicking a lot of rhetoric of changing the game and the system the way it is, and the black colleges don't get this and da 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 da. Only to fast forward and get a bigger bag. And he did what they always do to us. When they have somebody that they think is threatening in any form of fashion, they find that number and they get you out of the equation. They moved Deion out of the equation. I truly believe in my heart of hearts, had Deion pressed on for the next 4 or 5 years, there would have been a big movement to follow him. There would have been more Deions to go and join these black colleges. There would have been the Emmitt Smiths and all of these past players that we looked up to, the Ronnie Lotts, whatever. All those guys with ambitions to still be around football, which is a lot of them. I tell people all the time, when you look at TV and you look at these football analysts, ex-players, yeah, they're doing that because that's a job in the meantime, to keep my life sustained and pay my bills. But they would love to be coaching the sport that they came up in and gave their life to, gave their livelihood to. They do it all the time. We watch Jeff Saturday talk and commentate how long and how many shows and being an advocate on all these sports channels and pundits in and out until he got that call. Hey, man, you want to come coach, the Colts, the old team? Absolutely. It's a lot of those guys. And I believe Deion started a trend that was about to take place. We don't know now. And I think the fact that you keep repeating it's not about the bag is letting me know that it's about the bag. I don't say what it's not. That's one thing. When you go to explain yourself, other people bring up what they think is the elephant in the room that is not to be true. But when you keep bringing it up, it's some validity to it. I know that for a fact.
The funny thing is you brought up something that making me think right now. Before I throw it to you, Fig, for a second, you brought up something that's making me think because Jeff Saturday got an opportunity to coach a head NFL team. Deion Sanders was not going to get a call, even though he's a Hall of Famer. He was not going to get a call to coach the NFL team. So maybe he ultimately went to HBCU because he didn't want to be nobody's assistant coach. He wanted to be a head coach. And maybe he saw there's an opportunity to be a head coach, and maybe he went there, but he should have stayed there, in my opinion. But so Fig, what's your take on this? I mean, we talked about it a little bit yesterday. What's your take on this Deion Sanders? Because honestly, I think he brings up a great point. Jeff Saturday did get a call. Deion Sanders ain't getting that call to coach the Colts. He ain't getting that to coach the Houston Texans, but he would get that call to coach, JSU. He would get that call to coach Howard, any of those HBCUs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, 3 things. One is, because of the nature of who we are as black people in America, we're held sort of to a higher standard by our own people, if you will. It's like we're so far behind, is that we're looking for somebody to help bring us out. And I think in some way, Deion Sanders was looked upon in that way. I wouldn't call him a savior, but somebody who shined a positive light on our community and did well and we applauded that. However, far off that was, a lot of people applauded his efforts. And I wonder, Talent said something, and I'm wondering, he said if he stayed another 4 or 5 years, maybe other guys would have came along. I wonder because Deion was there 3 years. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people don't realize, I think a lot of people think that he was there like, I'm here 1 season and then I got an opportunity, now I'm out. He was literally there 3 years. Mm-hmm. And I wonder in that 3 years, had he reached out to other people for assistance and help and said, hey, why don't you guys come and be a part of this and help me out? You know what I mean? You take this school, you take that school. Like, can we build this up? And people turned him down. You know what I mean? So I just wonder if he just got frustrated and said, well, look, if nobody is going to come along for this ride, then, I'm not the Lone Ranger. How can I be here by myself?
The guy he reached out to a lot and got a lot of camaraderie with was Eddie George. Eddie George was supposed to join him at another school, and it was supposed to be this upcoming season. I don't know what happened with the offer, and I don't know what the school is, but Eddie George he spoke to. He recently spoke to Cam Newton. Cam Newton is still trying to play in the NFL right now, so obviously he's not going to take a head coaching job. But and hell, he might even land on the 49ers right now. But at the end of the day, he did reach out to some people. But since I got T,
wait. Now my last point. My last point is Rodney. I want to say what Rodney said yesterday, because I thought it was so poignant and right on time. Is that the fact that Deion Sanders was there, he did what he did, that it was in order to some symbolically, it felt like dad left home. You know what I mean? And it's almost like not only did dad leave home, he sort of left for somebody of another race. And I understand that. Now, me personally, I don't fault Deion Sanders for doing what he did, but I understand that mentality and that thought process of somebody who did so much in the community, our best and our brightest, and then they leave for another community and it hurts. I think that's the vitriol that people are putting out there spewing right now, is because it really hurts when dad leaves home, or when your best and your brightest get taken away from you. It hurts.
All right, so let's keep it moving on. T, the Lamar Jackson update just dropped in my lap. It looks like Lamar Jackson sprained his PCL. He's going to be out 3 weeks. So that's the Lamar Jackson update right now. Do you think it's going to affect the Baltimore Ravens in their chances to make the Super Bowl, chances to make the playoffs? What do you think is going to make their chances? Because, they were struggling.
Absolutely. Do we know who the backup is, Frank?
Yeah, the black dude. I forgot his name. I'll find it right now.
Well, you always got a chance when you got somebody named the black dude coming up. Right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Of course it is. The reason we know that it is the last few weeks. But let's go back a few weeks to when he was playing, but he was under the weather. He had a bug or something. So goes the team. He was under the weather. Horrible game. The Ravens haven't been on point since. If you look at the last 3 games, teams that if I'm a betting man. So when you look at the bet, these spreads are 10, 9, 12, 14 points for the last 3 weeks. And they're not coming nowhere near close to beating these teams. They're struggling into the last 2 minutes of the game to just try to get a field goal to win.
Right.
So if we're seeing that, the proof is in the pudding. We've seen through the looking glass already, so to speak. So now you're saying he's definitely out. And this is with questionable weeks. He's definitely gone for the next 3 weeks. I already know where my money goes.
Right. Tyler Huntley is the QB for the Baltimore Ravens, and he was the one who was struggling with the Ravens when they were struggling against the Broncos last week. So it's a tough assignment for the Ravens, and we all know, like we've been saying, the Ravens don't even have any wide receivers. So Lamar Jackson's in a year where he's trying to do what he's trying to do without any wide receivers. So I think it's best bet that that they are going to struggle to make the playoffs. Fig, what's your take?
I think it's difficult for a backup quarterback to come in and fill in for a player the caliber of Lamar Jackson, simply because the whole scheme of the offense is centered around the type of player that Lamar Jackson is, and there's nobody else like him. So yeah, anybody else that comes into that without changing the entire offense is going to struggle. Number two is some people say this is a negative thing for Lamar Jackson, but I actually look at it the opposite. I think it's positive because of the way that the Baltimore Ravens did with Lamar Jackson as quarterback. When he leaves, we're going to see how horrible they actually are without him, and you begin to realize, you know, the absence of weapons that he has on both sides of the ball. And I think this may show exactly how valuable he is, because when you're the only person that makes the car go and then you remove that piece, then you get to see how bad this thing really is.
That's a great point. I think it probably make him get a guaranteed contract bigger than what he probably was even hoping for. T, because you missed out yesterday, I'm gonna bring this up purposely just for you, because we talked about this yesterday, and I wouldn't even be talking about it today because I hate the Jets. But I'm gonna bring up the Jets because you my man, and I want you to say what you got to say about the Jets. You know what I mean, and get it off your chest. But I will say this, man, and I said this yesterday to those who are watching. Oh, thank you all who are watching out there. I will say this for the record. I think the Jets have found their quarterback. I think the Jets are all right, and I think in the offseason, if Mike White continues to keep playing the way he's playing, and he's going to get better and better and better as the games go, I think your boy is going to be traded in the offseason. That's just my take. But anyway, what's your take, T? What do you think?
Well, first of all, I think in that aspect, I beg to differ on that, because here in New York, they're already talking about going back to Zach. So keep your eye on that. Here's the thing. I like Mike White. And ain't nothing wrong with having two good quarterbacks. Like, I think the game has gotten us. We've gotten so spoiled to having that one guy, and we only think about that second guy when that guy gets hurt or gets sick or gets traded or whatever, and we put that one guy in the forefront. I think Mike White gives Zach Wilson, if not a run for his money, edges him out. But again, we're so late in the season. I understand going back to the guy with more reps. You know, I get that, especially if you're going to, start leveling out and balancing your run game back in the way you started 4 or 5 weeks ago. This game, this loss, is very close down to the wire loss where we ended up with 2 chances, not one, 2 chances. It was only a 5-point lead, and all we needed was a score in the final minutes. We had 2 big chances in the end. I'm going to do what I did the week before. And the week before that, when Zach Wilson had that meltdown game, and we lost with 25 seconds on the clock. My coach has to do better calling of the plays. He has to be smart. Hold on, you asked me.
I know. But
okay, so let me tell you what I'm seeing. What I'm seeing, Frank, when you get down to the 1 yard line and you have 2 downs, you're on the 1, and you have a mobile quarterback who can get in and out the pocket. You don't go to the shotgun, because all the defense is going to do is play prevent on that end zone and make it super hard for you to get in the end zone. Why not? You remove the play action fake and everything when you come back to the shotgun. You're at the 1. You can push your quarterback in the end zone. He could run to the side, quarterback keep. More importantly, play action fake is his go-to at that close to the goal line. I think that's a bad call to go to the shotgun every damn time, and he kept doing it.
All right, let me just say this: when there's a minute 47 left to go on the clock, Mike White went back in the shotgun and threw a dart to Braxton Berrios, and he dropped the ball. He would, if he had caught that, we'd be talking about, wow, the Jets beat the Vikings.
Yeah, he did, but you don't stop. You listen to me. That don't mean you don't stop calling plays, Frank.
I'm not saying that, but they would have won. He would have won the game. He would have won the game.
But coulda, woulda, shoulda. They would have won the game on 3rd down if he stayed under the pocket and did either quarterback keep or sneak. It's a 1 yard line. Why wouldn't you try that?
Okay, but my point I'm trying to make is you're talking about the plays that happened after that when Braxton Berrios dropped the ball. I'm saying none of those plays even would have happened if Braxton Berrios if he catches the ball, none of this even matters.
But football, we can't go off of if. If was a split, we'd be all high. But we got to go off of what happened. We got to go off of what happened, and what do you do next? And this is a repeat of 2 weeks prior. At the end of a game, a tight game, where you get blessed, and it's a blessing when you're losing and you can win, and you end up with the ball with the option and the chance to win. Here's where your coach shows his true colors. Here's where the coaching kicks in. It's easy to sit on the side with the headset the whole game and just go, all right, run, pitch, hold it. But when it get down to the wire, that's where coaches are made. And I just think that this guy can call a better play. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I don't know. If you listen, I'm not going to be one to campaign over here for the Jets. If you have to like that, let me do that. Because I ain't going to say nothing more about the Jets because it's the Jets. But I do think the Jets should have won that game. Fig, do you agree with what Talon is saying right now about that? Because honestly, if it's Zach Wilson or if it's Mike White threw a dart 2 times to 2 receivers in the end zone. One of them hit him dead in his chest, and he dropped the ball. So to me, the coach called a good play, and the people didn't execute. Even Mike White did his job. To me, but
yeah, he did, man. But what I think is even funnier is the fact that Talent turned you into an R&B singer. You was like
Yo, you stupid.
Yeah, man. Listen, Zach Wilson had an amazing few weeks. What was like 7 weeks, 8 weeks, and he gets to the one game where he just looks terrible, which a lot of young quarterbacks do against Belichick's defense. That happens. I think his post-game press conference is what made him get sat down, because he possibly lost the locker room by not taking any responsibility. Mike White comes in and he lights it up. And here's the thing. He did very good against a really good team against the Vikings. And the thing is that I'm so happy for the kid to get an opportunity, because I don't know if you guys realize Mike White is the cousin of Brooklyn's own comedian, A.G. White. And
He's an asshole.
I almost believe him there for a second.
I just like, yo, man, I can't believe that these guys, man, that he got an opportunity. And the thing that's ironic is AG is such a big baseball fan. I don't even know if he's watching his cousin play for the Jets.
Hilarious. All right, so T, let me talk to you about this NBA situation that I was trying to get to yesterday, but because Deion Sanders news happened, we didn't get a chance. Friday night, Trae Young ended up getting pulled and didn't even get a chance to play because supposedly there was some kind of rift going on with Nate McMillan, his coach. They came on, or they did a press conference yesterday or this morning saying there was no real dispute. But bottom line is Trae Young did not play because of something that jumped off with his coach. And news reports on Saturday and Sunday said the coach said, if you feeling the way you're feeling, don't even come to the gym. Don't even come. Don't even come. Now, of course, they say they walking that back. I don't know, man. I just feel some kind of way about these new young players, man, and with all these rifts with the coach. You know what I mean? You got the Phoenix Suns thing with the rift with his coach. You know what I mean? And now you got Trae Young with the rift with his coach. I don't know. I mean, what's going on, T? Where you at with this thought process? Because
here's the thing. I blame, if you're a young player, this is where the young players don't have the same resolve as the veteran players. Stop watching TV. Stop watching. They read their own press clippings so many times a day that they walk in that light. So if Stephen A. Smith and the Shannon Sharps and the Skip and them are on there all day, every day, saying this guy needs to do more of this, this guy's lacking this, they go out there and they take that to heart and they live that way. And when you live that way and somebody expects you to be the leader of a team, unfortunately for this guy, he would have a leg to stand on, but they want you to be the leader of this team. And to be the leader of this team means you have to listen to what this coach is telling you. Right. The coach is going to give you, the coach has the game plan. You have the skill and the athleticism and the basketball IQ to execute said game plan. And what's happening is they're clashing because he wants to live and move a certain way. Coach has a different plan, and they're clashing. This is just the when it got to boiling. I've seen these guys kind of bump heads. If you watch that sideline and watch an Atlanta Hawk game, this has happened 3-4 times already. And the season's young. It's early. This has happened 3-4 times. This is the bubble. But what I'm thinking with these young players, because I see it a lot. I hear it in their interviews. I see it in their swagger. Trust when I tell you, they're watching TV and they're reading their own press clippings. And Trey is no different than anybody else. We watched this young man catapult into a young star in the last 4 seasons. Nobody even cared about him until 4 seasons ago. Everybody like, yo. You know what I mean? And he's scraping the floor with people. But now they need him to go to that leadership level. Okay, yeah, you're good. You got the skills, you got the moves. A lot of guys can't guard you. Now can you lead your team and do this? And he's looking at it like, dude, I'm the dopeness. I'm doing whatever. Sometimes you can be individually dope, but bad for the overall team.
Yeah, I agree with that. Mr. Rodney Perry has joined the show. Rodney, what's up, man? How you doing?
What's up, guys?
All right.
I'm in the middle of voting and everything over here in Georgia.
That's dope. That's dope. Before we come to you, Rodney, let me get Fig in on his thoughts on this Trae Young downplaying, Trae Young situation with his coach. What's your thoughts on this?
The thing is that when it's, we're in the age of information and social media, everything is quick sound bites, and it happens so fast, and the general public gets wind of it so quickly. I think these things were going on before, and we didn't hear about them because we didn't have the technology that we do now. I mean, if you think about it, Magic Johnson got his coach fired. LeBron James has gotten coaches fired. Sprewell choked his coach. I mean, these things have gone on. They've happened over the years. Trae Young is just, I think he's a victim of social media and a victim of this age of information that moves at light speed, and it gets to everyone. And, the young man I don't think he has had an opportunity to speak for himself and to say, hey, this is what happened, blah, 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 this, that, and the third, because I can't imagine that you have these high-end professional athletes and coaches, and at some point in a season, they don't get on each other's nerves and, where they're yelling back and forth at each other's because emotions are high because everybody wants to win.
It definitely happens. But Rodney, you're in Atlanta. I'm sure you've probably seen a lot more than this, than we've seen and everything else. Tell me what the theme is and what the talk is in the Atlanta area about this Trae Young situation.
Hey, man, the long and the short of it is when you're losing, people get upset. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It don't matter whether you're the coach or the player. Somebody's getting upset because somebody got to belly up to the ball. The coach job is probably going to go first. And after that, then you start really taking a hard look at a guy named Trae Young. He is young, but like Talon says, he needs to belly up to the bar and he needs to lead these guys. But I mean, the guy is doing it all. He hooping out of his head, and his hairline is fading. So, I mean, I don't know how much you can expect out of the guy. Ian, he doesn't strike me as a guy that leads, verbally. He's a guy that leads by example. And so at the end of the day, it just hurts when you lose like that, I think. And Atlanta has been, they've been good, but not good enough.
Yeah. And Rodney's on the show when I'm getting ready to talk about the Lakers. So, I'd be interested here when we get ready to talk about that. So, the Lakers have won 8 of the last 10. Anthony Davis and the Lakers have been doing a lot of work, right? He got in the win. He got 22 from 30 from the field, 17 rebounds, perfect 9 from 9 from the free throw line. He just, Anthony Davis now got some of these sports writers talking about he should be in one of the guys talked about for the MVP. And I'm like, yeah, y'all are smoking. But, at the end of the day, that's the word.
Smoking? 99 points in 2 games? That's smoking? Okay.
Compared to 15 games, like you show up for 2 games, you should be in the MVP conversation? Yeah, you're smoking. Yeah, you're smoking.
That is a fact.
Yeah, you're smoking. T, talk to me, man. What you think about Anthony Davis and the Lakers?
Anthony Davis, you know what he is? He's a good, like a movie premiere. You ever see that good movie premiere? But then he goes, the movie was whack. But the premiere, the trailer, he's like, yo, I got to see that. That's who Anthony Davis is. He give you those 2 games, make you go, yo, I got to get some tickets to the Lakers game. He on fire. He the best that ever did it. And then the rest of the season, you just sitting there like a Spike Lee movie. And they sing that school. They're yelling at the end like school days. He's a smoke and mirrors type of guy. We all know that he's built for this thing, stature-wise. We know that on his good nights, what he's capable of. He's not shocking anybody with these 2 great games. These spurts. He's been doing that. He's been giving us these great spurts. But when this team needs from him, or any team for that matter, for him to lead, he couldn't do it where he came from. He's not doing it here in LA. I mean, he's that guy. He's going to give you spurts, but he's also that guy. I'm going to need 2 other great dudes to help us get it over the hump. Because if he's out there by himself and nobody else is producing on a higher level, here come the double teams, here come the triple teams. And we all know you're a different player when them doubles and triples come at you than when somebody guarding you mano y mano.
You know what the funny thing is? I'm going to say this. People are overshadowing, Anthony Davis' numbers is overshadowing the real story to me. The real story to me is 10 games ago is when Russell Westbrook started coming off the bench. That's the real story to me. But Anthony Davis' numbers is overlooking that. So, listen, Fig, you tell me what your thoughts are, because Anthony Davis is playing like a beast, but Russell Westbrook is coming off the bench, and he's so far looked like he's part of the difference too. You know what I mean? But you tell me what your thoughts are.
Listen, these guys have a lot of pride, the NBA players. And the reason that they went to New Orleans and did all they could to get Anthony Davis out of there is because they seen his potential. And they was like, yo, if this kid plays like this with LeBron and the rest of these Lakers, we could win a championship. And they went to the bubble and they did. The thing is that can you maintain consistency to get into the postseason and possibly into the finals again? And that's what we have yet to see outside of the bubble. Anthony Davis has proven to be injury prone. Russell Westbrook eventually will turn back into the Russell Westbrook that made teams let him go. And LeBron James is always going to be LeBron James. He's going to be the consummate professional. You know what I mean? Here's the thing. When these guys do what they do and fall off the rails, which they possibly can, it's a strong possibility that they can, because that's what their history shows. Can LeBron James at this elevated age carry the team without them?
Okay.
And we don't think that he can.
Rodney Perry, what's your thoughts, besides all those noises you're making? What's your thoughts on
Rodney just got gas. He ate a hot dog with sauerkraut and mustard.
I had to get some air in my vehicle because it was getting hot with all this talk.
Yeah, because the Lakers right now they've won 8 out of the last 10 games. When is everybody going to start turning around and believing the Lakers are for real? Because they starting to climb out, out of the basement, and they're winning some games.
Hey man, so many of the sports pundits, even the guys on our show have committed to the Lakers being bad. But how about this? The Lakers aren't committed to that. Darvin Ham has been doing a great job. He's essentially done what happened in Miami when my man turned the team over to LeBron. LeBron has turned the team over to AD.
Dwayne Wade.
Yes, thank you. LeBron has turned the team over to AD, right? And now we're seeing a healthy AD for the first time in 2 years. When this guy's healthy, he's proved that no other big man can handle him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, y'all can go, well, he's going to get hurt, but he isn't. And until he gets hurt, he is lights out, period.
Yeah.
Next up, Boston.
Okay.
No, they play Cleveland next.
Who?
The Boston is their next big challenge.
Oh, Cleveland ain't a challenge?
No.
Cleveland's a challenge.
Cleveland is Cleveland. Cleveland always they beat them last time, but they won't even be close to beating them again.
The Lakers right now
putting up 130, 140 points, guys. I'm telling you, this is not a fluke. And y'all all said they can't shoot, but they're shooting.
Rodney, the reason that the jury is still out on the Lakers is because right now they're 10-12.
All right, so T, let me throw this out there to you, man. Let me talk to you, T. Let's bring up Golden State Warriors because we gotta bring in the Golden State Warriors right now. Golden State Warriors.
Everybody's still talking about them like they the best too, and they get their ass throw up.
The Golden State Warriors are 13-12 right now, T. They lost again last night. When are we gonna start thinking that the Golden State Warriors are not as like they have been in the past? When are people gonna start looking at them like because they lost to Indiana last night?
Yeah. Well, 1 second. I finally, there it is. I was looking. You see me looking around, looking for a glass of reality. Ain't nothing there. Nothing there with the Lakers. Nothing. Nothing. Sure. Nothing there. So same thing for Golden State until they snap out of this funk. I ain't scared of them either. Nobody's scared of them. Nobody is looking at the Lakers. Let's face it. And this is no individual slight to nobody. But the reality is you're only as good as, you are who you say you are. You're only as good as who you show you are. No one's afraid to go to State right now. No one's afraid of the Lakers right now. The East and the West, the unusual suspects are running shit right now. The unusual suspect. Last year, we wasn't talking about Cleveland and Washington and Indiana. This year, we are. Last year, we was praying for teams like Utah and Memphis and all them. Praying. This year, you're praying for the Lakers. And now you're praying for Golden State. The only difference in Golden State and the Lakers is Curry is the type of player that keeps hope alive. He's the Jesse Jackson of point guards. He keeps hope alive. Now, LA, ain't no hope over there. Ain't no hope over there. You spent $700 million for the Sixth Man of the Year award because Russell Westbrook is coming off the bench.
Yeah,
that's how bad they done resolved to. So Golden State has just as much to worry about as LA, but the only difference is you have a hopeful player like a Steph Curry. We already know we done counted Clay out. We done counted Clay out, and we're hoping through Steph that he get them young boys rally, and we get some glimpses of a great Draymond before February. What's the deadline? February what?
For what?
Trade deadline.
It's usually around the All-Star break, so around February.
Yeah, so we're hoping that by the trade deadline, we get some great glimpses because Fig loves Draymond, but I'm here to tell you, if we don't get some great highlights and some moments from Dre, watch the trading block.
Yeah. Fig, what's your take on this Golden State situation right now? Because Golden State lost again to Indiana. What's your take? They're 13-12.
Yeah, nothing. I keep trying to say the thing that I keep saying is that what Steve Kerr is doing is giving these young guys a lot of playing time and giving them experience because he knows when it all boils down to it, you really gonna need them. And the more they play and the more they learn the system and the system becomes second nature by the playoffs and by the second half of the season into the playoffs, that's when the rubber meets the road. So, I mean, this is a feeling out period because here's the thing and what nobody is talking about. The Golden State Warriors are the reigning NBA champions. So this very last season, they won the championship. They got the rings. I saw the ring ceremony and the trophy and all of that. They're biding their time and they're getting these young players and they bringing them along. And by the end of the season, by the middle towards the end of the season, you'll see a different Golden State Warriors team because these young boys will be acclimated.
I hope you're right, Fig, but if they keep doing like they're doing, they're losing. They won't make the playoffs.
I'm not worried about that.
They're a 500 team right now. Rodney,
they're over 500
by one game.
That's all. That's all you need. That's all you need to be over 500.
Right now, the Golden State Warriors 13-12. What's your take on this right now?
That's what you need.
It's so funny, man. How we make the Golden State Warriors like, oh, they just at 500, even though they lost as many games as the Lakers virtually. But that's neither here nor there.
Right.
I think they'll figure it out. They'll find a way. I don't know if they can rest on their young players yet because their young players are improving. I mean, they're still relying on Steph. They're still relying on Clay, and they're still relying on Draymond. And let's not forget, Draymond slapped Mr. Poole.
Yeah,
Okay?
and they were relying on James Weissman, and they sent him down. So yeah, you're right.
And so this team hasn't recovered from the slap, right? That's dismantled this team single-handedly. All right. And now you look at the guys. We have faith in them because like Talent said, they got Jesse Jackson on their team. But a lot of people think Jesse Jackson set up Martin Luther King.
I knew it was coming.
Oh, stupid. Yo, here's
I'm
the
just
thing.
saying.
Hey, Frank,
Yeah.
you said it. You said it, Frank. You said it earlier this year. What the Golden State Warriors did, the players that played a lot last year, there's like 3 or 4 of them that's gone. You know what I mean? Like Gary Payton and like 2 other guys that's actually gone. And these are the guys who played a lot of minutes last year. And so what the Golden State Warriors have to do is they have to bring along these young guys to be able to replace these guys that left and took bigger contracts. And that's going to take a minute.
Well, let me say this to Rodney real quick. Because Rodney just said, I said, they said, keep in mind, a lot of people think he set up Martin Luther King. Well, I'll see your Martin Luther King Jr. and I'll raise you one Reverend Abernathy.
Well, this is the show we talk about comedy. This is comedy.
Reverend Abernathy.
It is comedy. All right, so this is the show called Box Seats. I want to thank all the folks who are out there watching. Yeah. I want to thank all those folks out there who are watching the game. Watching the show. The show's called Box Seats. We come back on, let's see, again at 7 and again at 11. And tomorrow we got to talk about OBJ because it looked like he's about to sign with the.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. He's making me mad going to the Dallas game.
Yeah. That was a clear indication that he looked like he going.
Yeah, he tried to act like he don't know what's going on. Oh, they got me out of camera. What's going on? You know what's going on, you son of a gun. But let me say this, Frank, in closing. Great night. If you missed Sunday night in Boston at Laugh Boston, you missed a stupendous evening of some great, superb comedy and just great energy in the room. Frank outdid himself Sunday, Fig. From the moment you walked in to the moment you walked out, it was just a stupendous night. It was great. Frank, great job. You know what I mean? For somebody who don't do a lot of this, boy, you did a great job. Can't nobody put nothing on you, complain nothing. A to Z, you covered rooter to tutor. Hats off and kudos to you, my brother. Good job.
Thank you, my brother. But since we throwing out flowers, see, I gotta say, I knew you was a beast anyway, but dude, you was a transformer because you transformed those things. I was like, wow, this dude, he went from normal, calm dude, everything else to the most excited. I know you've seen it 1,000 times. I'm still trying to get
1,000 times. That's what
I'm
he does.
trying to get used to it. I'm sitting there like, is that the same? And then he gets off the stage and he transforms back to the. So anyway, let's talk about the rest of the game. You know, we was talking about the game. You know what I mean? So and then he goes back and he transforms. I'm like, yo, this is the same dude.
They say when you love what you do,
that's right.
You never work a day in your life.
Hey, Frank, 30 plus years of watching this kid, watching him do the exact same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Well, we had a good time. Hopefully on the next one, when we get that date, you got it. You're just gonna love it. I mean, it's just his people, his crowd he brought out. You know, they came out exactly for what they got. They came out, they wanted a dope show. And shout out to Mo, did a guest spot that night. You know what I mean? I was backstage. You know me, Fig. I'm the ultimate host. So he's like, hey, if you want to give him a guest spot, I'll pull Frank to the side. Is he funny though? I haven't seen him.
Yeah.
I don't want to show the room.
Fig, I said he's 5 minutes running.
Nah, Mo killed it. Aldo killed it. And of course, Corey and Smokey brought it home. Great show.
Yeah, and we can ready to do it all again January 8th. So we're gonna put it together, line up and everything else like that. As soon as we have the conversation today, we're gonna put it all together. But anyway, let's get ready to get up out of here. The word right now on the street is people are talking about the next one. I'm guaranteed sure that it's gonna be off fire.
Hey, Frank, see if we can find somebody with the last name of Abernathy to show up to the show.
I don't even know if we can do that, but we can sure have Rodney Perry will act like he is Reverend Abernathy tomorrow. We can do that.
Reverend Abernathy.
The show's called Box Seats. That's talent. That's Fig. We're going to be back tomorrow. We got to do this all over again. We got a lot of topics to follow up with. And I'm talking about this Aaron Rodgers situation, the OBJ situation. And of course, this, I just found out just now, I got an alert that the Titans just fired their GM while we were on the air. We got to talk. And the Titans are the third or fourth seed in the AFC. I got to dig in deep and find out about all of that. So anyway, the show's called Box East. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Thanks for watching. We appreciate you.